Did you enjoy my review of WCW Vs NWO World Tour? Well, if you did, then you're going to love this next review in our WrestleMania special, which is the sequel follow-up, WCW Vs NWO Revenge. After watching a contender for the most bizarre wrestling game intro ever, you are presented with WCW Vs NWO Revenge, the follow-up to the N64's first wrestling game. Whilst the first game was a trendsetter with its new style of gameplay and innovative control method, WCW Vs NWO Revenge is sadly not as revolutionary as the first title was. Let's find out why. Firstly, the graphics have been improved slightly, but this is mostly down to adding new arenas and wrestler entrances. In gameplay, they both more or less look identical. When the first game set the bar so high, sadly Revenge only matches it, and it doesn't do enough to push the promise that the first one showed. That's not saying this is a bad game, however after spending a few hours with the title, even as a kid, I realised this was basically a brief update rather than a giant leap forward for the genre. The roster has been increased and updated, but yet again the wrestlers themselves have very little to differentiate themselves. The addition of wrestler intros was nice, but you'll soon realise that they're more or less identical, and the music they come out to is generic and many wrestlers share the same themes. For me, part of the fun of some of the later wrestling games is watching the spectacular entrances along with the music. Here you'll find yourself skipping them more often than not. The control system is also identical, however in this case that is a good thing. It was perfect on the first game, so there was no need to tinker with it here. However, they have added even more moves and also improved the counter system, meaning matches are now more competitive and balanced. What disappointed me the most about Revenge is the lack of additions to the single player mode. The first game was limited, but that was to be expected as it was the first in the series. Revenge adds nothing new to the series. The solo player mode still consists of choosing a title and beating a certain number of opponents before being crowned champion. There are no storylines and no special matches such as cage or ladder matches. Also, rather annoyingly, you'll find that during your matches you have run-ins just like in real wrestling. This would be a nice touch, however they are almost always running out to attack you, and so when your one-on-one matches quickly become handicap matches, it really stacks the odds against you. Sound in the game is fine and the generic rock music is back, but this neither adds nor detracts from the game. Some of the wrestlers have audio during their taunts, so it's finally cool to be able to hear Macho Man Randy Savage go, "Ooh yeah." Multiplayer mode is where this game really shines once again. Whilst you are limited due to lack of match customization options, they have managed to nail it in 4-player mode, so the game suffers very little slowdown. With the addition of the more balanced counter system I mentioned earlier, it really means this is a strong contender for the best 4-player wrestling game on the console. WCW Vs NWO Revenge could have been so much more, but what we are left with is a simple update. Saying that, however, doesn't do this game justice. This is a case of the bar being set so high by the first game. I still have countless hours of playing this in 2-player mode with my brother, trying to win the tag titles, and these are great memories. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll have no doubt played this already. Let me know what you thought of this compared to the first game in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this trip to the best WCW wrestling game on the N64, hit that like button, and until next time.